I actually worked at 14 over the summer, and my job was cleaning up Lincoln Terrace Park.
So my very first job in high school was working retail. I was so excited to get a job at Old Navy. I was like blown away.
During summers off from college, I would work at Old Navy.
So I started as a volunteer and as a young community member at the age of 16.
Really kind of taught me the value of money, working, expectations that people have of you when you're actually on a job.
It was hard to break through until I went to college and started thinking about my expression and identity in more complex ways.
I dropped out of high school because I was balancing the discrimination that I was facing at home, and it was connected to the discrimination in school.
I went into the Air Force, and quite frankly, during that time, it was still taboo to be identifying as anything, you know, especially gay or lesbian or anything other than that.
About a year and a half after I started working with the fire department is when I got to a point where I really couldn't consciously deny my identity anymore. And so I came out as trans, and that's sort of when I started my journey of coming out as trans in the workplace and merging all of my identities. Coming out in the fire department was a difficult process.
I'm originally from Dallas, Texas, and so coming from that space, it was really challenging for me.
We're talking 10 years ago, so it was sort of before trans identity was in the forefront of mainstream culture.
Navigating my identity as a woman, as a person of color in the South, and then navigating my queer identity and all sort of all the complexities of gender across the spectrum.
I came out of the military with the realization that I'm a lesbian woman and I have to find my way in this world.
Understanding how I sort of fit into a work environment.
I think there was a rebellious part of me that was like wanted to demand access where I felt access wasn't necessarily granted all the time.
I didn't really think about whether I was going to be accepted for who I was as an individual or not. I had one mission, and that mission was to get a job where my skill sets would be recognized and people wouldn't look at me for anything other than that.
At Sage, I work under our housing initiative project.
I work for Citi, and I'm the Vice President of Campus Diversity Recruitment.
I'm what we call a managing director, so it's the highest level of promotion that you can have at any banking or financial institution.
I think I just say to the youth, think about being intentional about, what are your objectives, what are your priorities, what are you passionate about, and really bring all those things to the table. And that's going to be, that's a major key in your success.
I think where you should start from is what do you want to do as an individual. You can do anything that you want as an individual. You don't have to be boxed into any particular role because of who you choose to love. So that's the first thing.
Overall, I would just say, be confident, be true to who you are, and don't necessarily let fear limit your opportunities.
The second thing that I would say to individuals that are looking for opportunities and trying to think about their career and plan out those next steps is know what makes you fascinating.
For young people who are developing or want to develop skill sets and or want to start venturing out into the workforce, I think that joining organizations that speak to their causes is important. At the Brooklyn Community Pride Center, you find a space, you find a library, you find staff, you could find your potential mentor.